Hello everybody and welcome to week 32's week in review, weekly recap thingy here on my channel of teaching myself how to draw. To start, as always, we'll look at the figures. I mentioned last week that I was kind of trying a new thing with the pelvis where I'm basically finding a point kind of between the shoulders and taking it down to help me find the angle of the pelvis, almost like suspenders. And you could see me doing it here and there. It really helps. I think I'm still having a bit of an issue with having the torso and the pelvis be too close to each other and like it being too compact like this. I still need to work on that. That's like a problem that I've had since day one, like this one, you know, and this one. Sometimes it works out though, which is confusing. I think it might have to do with the angle of the drawing. I'm not really sure. I haven't really put a lot of thought into it, but I'm still noticing that. That's probably like the biggest concern of mine, aside from drawing the head, which a lot of these heads look fine, but they usually come out too small and sometimes a little too big. But the main thing I struggle with is the actual process of drawing them. It's easier from the side. Like these are all like profiles more or less, right? It's easier for me to do that, but like straight on like this, more so, or like stuff like this is really difficult. It usually takes me, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or something when I can really whip together some of the other stuff pretty quick. I like this one. The balance of it is kind of nice. You know? That's usually what I focus on. I've mentioned before when I do these pose practice things each day. Again, you can see those lines, finding that pelvis. The thing I mainly focus on is the balance. And the way I usually do that is I grab a line from the nose and just go straight down to the floor. And it helps you find like a simple center of gravity for some of these standing poses. And then you can kind of, you know, understand where there needs to be a bit of weight, like over here or whatever, you know. Yeah, not a lot to say. I think this one turned out pretty good, hey? I'm getting better at visualizing these shapes as kind of like 3D objects, like the central mass, thinking of like not just the contour, which has been like a historic problem for me. I usually will just focus on the contour. Like when I don't really understand what's going on, like you can tell in this one, the torso, I basically just drew like a little contour thing. This was probably a 90-second pose. But I'm getting better at kind of visualizing this as like a 3D mass, you know, with like depth to it. It's still really hard, but it makes it easier to draw, like, for example, like the leg on the other side. I know how to, like, you know, there's like space between this leg and this leg, right? There's like mass in between it, volume in between it, space in between it, you know, that sort of thing. It makes it a little easier to draw things that are covered, like a little bit of this shoulder, or like the far shoulder over here, you know, the arm emerging from the other side, or like this shoulder, right? Things that are hidden. I'm kind of getting better at like, okay, you know, I think I know how far away it should be, like this sort of thing, right? I'm placing that shoulder there. I don't know if it's really right, but I feel like I'm getting a little better at that at least. And again, you can see these suspender lines I'm doing. It's really helping me, not all the time, but in certain poses, it's really helpful to find that, like, that front hip bone or whatever it is. This one's funny. I drew ice cream. My ice cream. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my poses as always. It's a good opportunity. This one's pretty nice for me to test things out, you know. I really don't take it all that seriously. It's just a fun warm-up, I find. And it's really fun. I'm really enjoying them. This was today's here. So yeah, not a whole lot to say. I'd still like to remind myself to do darker lines. You know, some of these are very faint. I need to keep in mind that I can't really see. So yeah, that's my my week of poses there. Next, we'll do the stuff I drew. So this was actually last week. This was on the 14th. So Thursday of the week before this week's week in review of week 31, I guess. This is week 32. So this is just like a quick rough sketch I did of some fan art from Shiori from Hololive. And I was having a lot of fun with it. I thought I would kind of finish it. So I was doing other stuff the previous week, but I saved this. And then I came back, kind of tightened it up, fixed up some things here and there. And I thought I would like finish it as I've done with the other Hololive girls that I've drawn. Because why not, right? I like finishing drawings. I don't do it enough, so the clothing was really giving me trouble. I couldn't figure out there were a number of things, like the folds of this kind of jacket folding over, you know, and then like the sleeves connecting underneath within that kind of underneath that fold and stuff. I was trying to figure out what was going on with this jacket. It was really giving me trouble. So this was day 2. Next, I basically just cleaned up the lines. So you can see there's not a lot of changes going on here, but I'm just finding the line art within that, right? Tidying it up a bit. Still no shadows. But again, these sleeve openings really gave me trouble. I just kept them really simple. And these boots were also really difficult. I couldn't find the angle because the legs are kind of, you know, like this leg is coming down and heading this way, and then the boot is kind of off to the side. So the ankle's kind of like broken here, right? I think this leg turned out a little better. This one, the angle of this boot is just, I'm showing too much of it, you know? More of this boot should be hidden behind this foot, I think. I realized that partway through and I was like, whatever, it's fine, you know? So that's day 3. Next day I threw on some shadows. I don't really have anything to say about this, do I? Not really. It was usually this shadow process takes me a long time, but this one, it only took me like 2 hours or whatever. Usually it takes me, I mean, 2 hours is quite a while, but I feel like it usually takes me longer. So maybe I feel like I was more relaxed with it. Like I wasn't, usually when I do this, I try and find the perfect lines. But I remember when I was doing this section here, I was like, I don't know what the folds of this dress look like, so I'm just gonna draw triangles, you know? And it looks fine, you know? It doesn't have to be perfect. I think this sleeve looks really cool too. And like, I don't know what's going on with the folds and the bunches in this jacket, but I don't know, it looks cool. It looks fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? And then I did one more day, just kind of adjusting some of the colors, adding a bit more life to the shadows. I added a bit of texture to it too. A bit more detail on the eyes. And then the big one is the background, hey? So you can see I went in here with like a bit of a blendy brush and kind of added some extra shadows in there. I usually don't do that. And what I'll do is I'll grab like a section, like this section here, this brown section, then I'll do just a bit of a gradient, like this, you know? Kind of over everything, like how this leg, it's a little darker here, and it's just a slight gradient. I'll usually do that with like a spray can, kind of everywhere. Like here, brighter here, darker here and here, you know? That's usually the only shading I do, but I tried to do something down here. I think it turned out okay, I don't know. I don't really know how to do that. I think it turned out pretty nice though. I like the background. I was just messing around and I kind of accidentally discovered some nice effects that kind of work together, so I stuck with it. Yeah, all in all, it was really fun. This was how many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So what, like maybe 10 or 15 hours, somewhere like that? About 12 hours maybe total? I don't know. I didn't keep track. But I recorded it all. I'm gonna probably put together a time-lapse video, maybe with some commentary, talking about what I'm doing as I do it, kind of along the whole thing. I don't know, I'd like to make videos like that, so it's an idea I have in my head. Anyway, that's that. Ta-dum. Next thing I did is this one. So let me pull up my timeline here. I made a quick animation. Just a simple walk cycle thing. This was, when was it? Saturday and Sunday. So yesterday and the day before. I put this together. So the first day I did so on day 1 I did basically just the skeleton of this. I followed along with a simple animation guide, like a simple walk cycle guide. I just kind of drew along and put together this kind of framework of this walking figure. And then it was actually really fun. Like, I'm surprised at how fun it was. How many frames is this? This is, I think, 8 frames, right? Yeah, and then the next day I went in and I drew this character that this one. Oops. This character that I made a few weeks ago. Just a simple, it's mostly the cloak that I really like about this character. But just a simple character design that I threw on top. So yeah, and then I just drew this character, basically over top of the skeleton. It was really fun. There was a number of landmarks, like this gun holster, that I could rely on to, and the head didn't really change a whole lot, so I basically just kind of copied and pasted the head. But there were a number of things that I was trying to find the same location on each frame and draw it along. The hard thing was this cloak, the way it opens like that, because there's like arm slots in the front, right? I couldn't figure it out. It was really difficult, but I think it turned out pretty cool, hey? It was a lot of fun, like I said. I haven't really messed with animation all that much. But I think the legs look really good. Like the timing of the steps, you know? I think it looks cool. And there's like character to the arms too. There's a bit of like a bounce to the step. It's kind of fun. I don't know. Anyway, the reason I did that, this was my submission for the prompt for the month of September, which was inspiration. And basically, like a few days ago, I just like decided to check out like some Unreal Engine and like Unity tutorials and stuff like that, and I got a little inspired because I want to make games and stuff. So I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was this intuitive looking, you know. So I got a little inspired, and I've been thinking of making. I have like an idea for a game with this character. I won't really go into too much depth yet, but I'm thinking about something, and so this is the result. I won't be using this in a game or anything, but I don't know, maybe I will. Who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Anyway, that's that. So let me get rid of my timeline here. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm really happy with this one. And that does it for my week in review. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week with some more. Cut.